Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and okay to all my students for PLC subjects going to sit for the final exam. Sure you are alert with the location and time. Okay, for the final exam, everybody you must come. It is compulsory for you to come face to face examination. So we are going to meet in the hall. No online examination and no excuse. So please come to the examination hall. Uh, so for the final exam, we have 4 questions only. Okay, 4 questions, and you have to answer all the questions. So 2 of the questions are programming questions, which is the part that I taught to you for the first 7 or 8 weeks. And the other 2 questions come from Dr. Nurdiana part. Okay, so you have to prepare both parts that delivered by me and Dr. Nurdiana. So as for programming, PLC programming, as we know that we have 2 types of programming, conventional method or shift register method. So make sure you read the questions carefully. If the question asks you to solve using conventional way, so please use the conventional method. If the question asks you to solve using shift register method, then you have to use shift register method. Bahasa Malaysia shift register method ialah daftar anjak. So sometimes the term that appear in the Bahasa Malaysia version in the final exam questions is not very familiar. So please check with the English version because our lecture 100% in English and all the terms are usually, perhaps you are more familiar with English terms. So I don't want to take too much time today. So what I'm going to discuss with you is only perhaps in 10-20 minutes about midterm, midterm examination, because that's already covered all the parts that I already taught for the first 7 to 8 weeks. And don't forget, not only that, you have to refer back all the questions in all my classes, in all my lectures, in all the slides. Look at the questions, make sure you understand, and try to do it by yourself. Because this is perhaps our first time after PKP that we have face-to-face conventional way of examination. So make sure you are not nervous and so on. All right. So let me share with you the screen first. Okay, so I quickly want to discuss with you. Let me share with you my screen first. Right. So I'm going to share with you my screen. Okay, so hopefully you already able to look at this question here. So this is the question that we have done on the 27th April, and the midterm examination, and I already passed to you all your marks. But today, I will discuss with you the questions. So question 1 and question 2. So if you read carefully, of course, you have to go through all the questions here, right? So there are 2 different size of products, move random on random conveyor. So read carefully and make sure you are aware with the process, all the process and all the rules that involved in the questions. Please read carefully. For example, here basically we have the station 1 spraying station, and you should at station 1 the spraying process will take for 20 seconds. So read carefully whether during the process your conveyor need to stop or not. Sometimes at certain station the conveyor is not stopped, but in this question the conveyor will stop, and at the same time the spraying station, the spraying process will on for 20 seconds. Okay, so the time taken to spray big and small object is the same for this case at station number 1. But for station number 2, the oven station, we have certain rules, okay, where time taken for big and small objects is not all the same. So it will follow this rule here. So you have to read carefully at station number 2. The oven will only operate when 3 objects are loaded into the oven station. So rule number 1, we must have 3 products in the oven. Then only either big heater or small heater will on. Okay, if 1 product or 2 products, it will not on. Okay, and when the oven is on, either big heater or small heater is on, the conveyor will stop. So make sure you stop the conveyor. And we have this rule here. Okay, if the number of big products in the oven is greater than the number of the small products, then the heating is 1 minute. Longer time is needed with big heater. Okay, other than that, 30 seconds using small heater. So you can see here how many outputs do we have. I have the spray output. I have the heater output. Heater is big heater, 1 big heater and 1 small heater. And then I have another output is to control the solenoid, to on and off the solenoid after we have done with the heating, either big heater or small heater. So let's look at the solution. So what you have to do, you have to basically develop the ladder diagram using conventional method. So don't use shift register method for question number 1. Question number 2. Question number 2, we have the process here. It's very straightforward. Then use the shift register method. Okay, so let's go quickly one by one. All right, so this is the schema. I'm going to share with you the schema later on. Table. So please develop the table. If you have all this table here, you can see clearly in the questions how many inputs, how many outputs do we have. For example, start, we have the stop, and then we have the spray sensor, we have the big sensor, we have the small sensor. So if you have 5 inputs, then it will be correct. Okay, you can see from the questions here, we have all the inputs we have here: start button, stop button, we have the sensor 1, sensor 2, sensor 3. All right. Output. So you have to look at the questions. How many output you have? I have conveyor motor, I have the spraying station, I have the spray gun, I have the heater, big, I have the heater, small, and then I have solenoid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 outputs. So if you have 5 inputs, 5 outputs, you label it and use the correct channel. For input is 0, output is 100. So we need to use CP1E as mentioned here, Omron CP1E. So channel 0 for the input, channel 100 for the output. All right. You will get 2 marks for that. And then flow chart. So flow chart, make sure usually we must have start and we must have end. Some of the students, you don't have the end. So if we press the stop button, then the whole system will be end. And then if you have this diamond shape like this is conditional. Condition to test. Okay, is it timer 20 seconds enough? Already achieved or not? Is it counter? For example, here we have counter 3. Is already achieved or not? Okay, is it we already count up to 3 products or not? If not, then you have to repeat. If yes, then only we do one more condition here where we have to test whether big is more than small or not. All right. All right. So this is the ladder diagram. Hopefully you can go through one by one slowly. It may take some time. I'm going to share with you this. All right. So first of all, we press the start button. The conveyor will on. So at what time the conveyor will off? the conveyor will off during the spray sensor detect. Okay, the spray sensor, it will off, stop, and also when we press the stop button. So these two situations, you press the stop button, or when the spray sensor detects something, then your conveyor will off. Right? What else? Then it should on back. It should on back using the timer T0, T3. So you have to go through here. Where is T0? Where is T3? All right. All right. In rung number 2, whenever the spray sensor detect, then timer will start counting for 200. That means 20 seconds. Right. At the same time, this spray sensor is still there. The product is still there in front of the spray sensor. That means your spray gun will still always on for 20 seconds. Right? So complete 20 seconds, it will stop the spray gun. And at the same time, T0 will on back your conveyor. Continue back your conveyor. All right. And we have to detect how many big, how many small do we have. So here we have two registers, D0 and D1. Remember that you must also have always use CLC to clear the carry, CLC. This is mentioned about the, look back the lecture in lecture note about the parking example where we have the CLC to clear the carry. All right, so we have two types of sensors here, 0.03, 0.04. So these two sensors is to detect two different products, as you can see here, sensor 2 and sensor 3. Two different products. One is to detect the big, the other one is to detect the small. So I want to keep track number of small product and number of big products. So I store in D0 and D1. Then what I do is I do the addition. I add. I always, this is P on, that means always on. So I always add the number of big products with the number of small products. Why? Because here, P on, I want to compare. I want to compare, we do comparison whether D2, because addition here, D0 and D1 we store in D2. So you compare the value of D2 whether it's already 3 or not. Because according to the rules that if my product is 3, then this is P equation, that means this is true. P equal, not P equation, P equal, if comparison is true, equal to 3, then we on number 10. Right? We on number 10. So later on you have to see where is number 10. 10.00 is the 10.00. Okay, 10.00 is here and here. Okay, heater is not on yet because this is the what we call it, the rule to on the heater, either big heater or small heater. So we need to do one more comparison, is to compare between D0 and D1. Remember, D0 is to keep track the number of big, and D1 is to keep track the number of small. So we compare between big and small. If greater, that means big product is more than small products, you on 10.01. If lower, that means other than that, okay, then you on 10.02. So if big product greater than small product, so maybe 2 with 1, 2 big, 1 small, or all big, 3 big products. All situations there, you on 10.01. So 10.01 is here. So as you see here, 10.01 should be true and number of 3 products should be true as well, then only your heater, big heater, will be on. This heater besar means big heater. Sorry for the Malay. I use Malay here. Heater besar, big heater. And okay, this is holding to on the heater as well. And your heater should be on for 60 seconds. And after 60 seconds, then you off this. So if you understand this, then it will be the same for the small heater as well. Small heater as well. Then what happened after complete? Then T1 or T2. T1 or T2 will on the solenoid, where the solenoid will on for 5 seconds. And the rest of it, here we have to reset back. We have to reset back the registers that we use, D0, D1, D2. Okay, that's all. Okay, that's all. Then question number 2. Okay, I don't want to take too much time. Question number 2, please go through the shift register method carefully. Shift register method, you have the input-output table as usual, and you have one additional table here which is related to shift register method, where you have the start and ending. Okay, the detail about shift register method, you need to watch back my lecture on the shift register method. I just explained here briefly. Usually we have the start here because I want to move the value of 0001. This 0001 means 000, 0000, 0000, and 0001. I want to move this value into register D0. Here, in this case, I use D0. Why? Because I want the bit number 1, the first bit, to be on 1. Okay, then the next rung is the shift register method rung, shift register block, SFT D0 D0. This is P off because we always put in new data which is 0. The new data that put in here is always 0. When you put 0, then this 1 will be moved to the second bit. Another bit 0 come in, then 1 will move to next to it. So at any time we have only one location has 1, which means this 1 will on the process. So this is shift register method, means that you on the process by using the bit. That's why at any time we have only one bit 1 at any time at certain location. The rest of the bits will be 0. So this W2.00 is this. Okay, when complete, then it will tell the shift block to do the shifting. And this is the stop button. Okay. All right. So the next rung, which is this rung, is taken from complete or stop column here. That's why here, okay, this is D0.00, D0.01. If you have more steps, then you may have D0.02, D0.03, and so on. But in this case, we have only up to 2 steps. That means, we have 2 steps here, 0 and 1. This is already repeat. So you use D0.00, D0.01, and here to repeat is D0.02. That's why here you must have D0.02, because repeat, the same thing like you press the start button again. You push all the values 00001 into D0 again. But here not using start button. After you already complete the sequence, we send 0001 to D0 using bit D0.02 because your 1 already moved to bit D0.02. This is D0, the address. So 0.02 should be here, 0001 here, somewhere here, D0.02. Okay, so here taken from the complete or end column here. Sensor X on. So here, sensor X 0.02. T0 is here. Right? Okay, and then the rung below here is taken from start column. So conveyor 0.00. Here we have D0.00, D0.01. If you have more steps, you may have D0.02 and so on. So D0.00 will on conveyor. That's why here we looking at start or the start column here. Conveyor on, conveyor 0.00 will on. So D0.00 will on the conveyor. D0.00 will on the conveyor. Right. Next, D0.01 will on the stamping and also the timer. That's why here D0.01 will on the stamping and also the timer. So if you want to understand this, you have to simulate this using your simulator. Draw this in ladder diagram. I mean before the exam, and go through one by one, step by step. All right, I think that's all. Final exam, you cannot bring in your laptop, so make sure you understand. I think that's all from me. Hopefully you have a good preparation. All the best. Good luck to all the students. And I pray that everybody here, you understand. Make sure no notes bring into the examination hall. Tak ada toyol-toyol, because if we catch you, then you will be barred. Your result will be barred. Perhaps you will be expelled from the university. So make sure you attend the examination and try to answer as best as possible. All the best. Good luck to all the students. Assalamualaikum. Good day.